So NFTs, yes, I know. You're probably asking yourself, Hunter, are there even any NFTs on Arbitrum? Well, yes, there are. Believe it or not, Ethereum and Solana aren't the only chains with NFTs, and I think personally that Arbitrum is going to be one of the next up-and-comers in terms of the NFT ecosystem. So personally, I've been doing a lot of research and, kind of focusing my energy on the NFT ecosystem in Arbitrum, as well partially because it's more or less part of my, day-to-day job as a community manager at Arbitrum. So, take this video with a grain of salt. But personally, I am a big fan of the NFTs that are currently on Arbitrum, and I'm going to be showing you some that I currently hold myself, as well as some that I just think are very interesting, and kind of just give you an overview of the NFT landscape on Arbitrum currently. So without further ado, let's get into the first project. Random Walk. So Random Walk NFT. This is actually a generative art project that is, as I mentioned, currently on Arbitrum. I don't currently have one myself, but I did have to bring this up because it's actually probably the first NFT project that really made a huge splash in Arbitrum when they launched. If you go actually to their FAQs, you'll see that essentially a random walk, as I mentioned, is generated automatically. When you mint, a random number called a seed is generated for each NFT by the smart contract, and they use the seed in the Python script to generate an image and videos. And technically, if we go to the actual gallery here, so we can actually see how they look, it's literally just a bunch of random, as we mentioned, generated images that create these random walks. So let's see if we can actually take a look at the video, for example, and you'll see here that with the NFT, it seems like you can get like the image / video version of it, and it just like randomly creates an images and goes ahead and actually walks, I guess. But it may seem kind of like a random project, but at the same time, this is the type of like art block style thing that you would kind of see, as I mentioned, on art blocks, for example. So I'm a big fan of like this generative, innovative artwork. So I think it's really cool that someone actually came out with this. And there's also actually another type of gamification to it. So every time you mint, the price actually goes up for the next one. So I think currently the mint price is at 0.03. I think it started out at like 0.00 something at some point. And there's currently over 1,400 mints. So people have minted over 1,400 of these actually, which is nuts. The other thing I wanted to mention was that Vitalik Buterin's father actually tweeted about this, Dima Buterin, and just mentioned that it was a cool generative NFT experiment on Arbitrum. Cool art, interesting gamification, and obviously the gas fees are a lot less expensive than Ethereum because Arbitrum is a layer 2, but at the same time still secured by Ethereum, and that's mainly why I'm doing a lot of my stuff on Arbitrum, and obviously why part of the team, because I do believe in Ethereum being the main, the main layer for any type of Web3 action in the future, and Arbitrum to me is like, where most people I think will end up doing a lot of their, DeFi NFT stuff in general. So, I just want to get a little ahead of the game, you know what I'm saying. But shout outs to the guys at Random Walk. I think it's a really cool project. The last thing actually I should mention too is there's another gamification part to this as well, where if you're the last minter, I think within a 30-day period, so like if you mint, like if you're the last one who mints in the contract within 30 days, you'll actually receive all the ETH that was given to the contract in the first place. And currently that's about 9.5 ETH. So it's actually really interesting project. I definitely am interested to see it kind of keep going forward. And if this video does well, then chances are they might be minting this forever. Who knows? Next project is Smol Brains. This is another actually Arbitrum native project that was actually just technically launched about a couple of days ago. They've been kind of hyping things up for about a month or so, and a lot of cool things actually behind this. So just to start off, when these things first came out, they were actually free to mint. So you would essentially get one of these guys for free. This one actually, you'd get a female version of this and a piece of small land as well, all for free. I think it was like you had to draw a picture of one of these things and actually just send it into the Discord, and you got whitelisted, from what I understand. But now, actually, they're actually trading on the Treasure Marketplace, which is, of course, as well Arbitrum native. And we can actually take a look at some of the ones that are currently on here that exist. So let's go ahead and go to Smol Brains, and you'll see that there currently are a couple female ones over here. A couple of male ones, if we keep scrolling, I assume. Here we go. Bam, here's one of them. And they're all priced in Magic. Now, again, to reiterate, these were actually free when they came out literally about like 2-3 days ago. Now, the floor price, because I think this is kind of bugged out a little bit, I think the floor price is a couple $100 for each one of them. So you pretty much got a free $1,000 if you were essentially in the Discord and you drew a picture of one of these things and got on the whitelist. So yeah, it's pretty dope. You know, just like start off to the project, I think. And then on top of that, there's a thing that you also got, as I mentioned, you got Smol Brains land. And essentially how it kind of works is you need to buy a piece of land, and as well as one of the Smol Brains that we were just looking at, and go ahead and stake it on Monkey Island. Now, to be clear, I'm not too sure on the actual gamification of how all this works. All I know is that the average IQ of one of these Smol Brains is about 6.8, and my IQ currently is about 6.4. So I am clearly a dummy in the eye of the small Monkey Island. Probably, the funniest project I've seen on Arbitrum. And part of the reason why I did want to bring this up is because how much crazy attention this actually brought to the Arbitrum ecosystem, literally like these past couple of days. If you take a look at the Arbiscan, which is like Etherscan for Arbitrum, and you look at the NFT tracker, you'll see that there were over 5,000 transfers of these things within a 24-hour period. And the land was just second to the actual Smol Brains themselves, with about 2,500 transfers, surpassing pretty much anything else within Arbitrum so far. So, you know, it's like projects like these that decide to build on Arbitrum because they understand that Ethereum is the future and that Arbitrum is the only way to like be as secure without using Ethereum, you know, are going to make it, you know, if you ask me. So, like, you know, Treasure as well as Smol Brains, you know, clearly these guys are killing it out here. I acquired a Smol Brain myself, as you can obviously tell. I got me a little dude over here with a purple hat and a female over here with a straw hat, and obviously a piece of land too. So, you know, mind you, I bought this on the secondary market as well, you know. No shady business deals going on here. But I think it's a really cool idea. Their Discord is crazy, popping off with a bunch of people kind of interacting and engaging. And I do look forward to see what the future plan is for Smol Brains. I think they're looking more and like more at like building out like a small verse, if that makes sense. As you can see, building a small verse, as in like there's going to be more NFT projects on Arbitrum that are related to like the small idea. So smol, I don't know how you pronounce that, and it's like a French thing, smol. But yeah, so I'm definitely keeping an eye on these guys. I've got me again like one of these two dudes and a piece of land. And again, I should reiterate too that part of the reason why I'm like really like into a lot of these projects is not only because I think a lot of them are innovative and cool, but also because it's like they're not like, you know, tons of ETH to buy into, right? You know, again, none of this is financial advice, but like, you know, part of the reason why I'm loving looking to these projects is because, you know, like the floor price isn't like $1 million, you know. Again, it's like $400 for like one of these guys, which does seem like a lot of money, but if you price it in ETH, it's like a lot less than anything on Ethereum right now, or any other project, I guess, or any other, chain. So definitely a big fan of Smol Brains. And again, this was free to mint too, so you really can't even beat it. Next is Arbibots. So Arbibots was actually one of the first NFT projects on Arbitrum I bought into personally. This was about, maybe it was like 2 months ago, I think, when they first came out. Was it 2 months ago? Like a month and a half, 2 months ago. And they had this really cool system where they were essentially doing Dutch auctions that started at 20 ETH. And, you know, within a 6-hour time frame, went all the way down to 0.01 ETH. And at that point, you know, it would just reset until the next pool of Arbibots were able to be purchased. Now, everyone who's in the Discord right now, for the most part, like, participated in these Dutch auctions. And they were actually pretty fun to, like, you know, visibly see. Because, like, they had, like, a little Discord bot where, like, you would see the price go down as well as when people would start to mint. So it was pretty cool to see when someone would start to mint. And then all of a sudden, you know, like, you know, everyone starts minting after that, and then all of a sudden, you know, the next Dutch auction starts. It was a cool little kind of gamification thing they had going on there for a little while. But obviously, at some point, all 2,000 Arbibots were minted, and now essentially the community itself has actually been growing since then. So one of the things that you actually get with one of these Arbibots is a case. If you minted at a specific time, you got actually a different type of case. I got some see-through bot cases as well as a little Dutch case. The little Dutch one is actually pretty cool. Pretty cool, if you ask me. The other thing that they've been doing actually is quite a bit of stuff. If we take a look at their Twitter account, they're doing a couple things actually. It's a project that turned into like I thought it was just some random little Dutch auction thing with pictures of like 8-bit bots. So as you can see, one of the things that they're doing, it looks like, is having the ability to have your Arbibot in 3D. I'm actually not sure if they're doing this for every Arbibot per se, but when I saw this, I'm like, yeah, this is beautiful marketing, okay? Beautiful marketing, okay? They're also doing some sort of Arbi Gachi thing, where maybe I would think it's somewhat similar to what Aave has, like Aave Gachi. I haven't even used that, so I'm not even sure how that works. But, it seems like they're kind of gamifying the Arbibots that they already minted prior, as well as having their own DAO, so the bot DAO, which they actually already have kind of, going. Because technically, if you have an Arbibot, that counts as one vote. So they're doing actually quite a bit of stuff. It's funny because it's the kind of thing where, like, from what I saw, they didn't even mention anything about like a roadmap at any point. Frankly, I don't think any of these projects have any roadmap, and that's kind of why I like them. I don't like projects that make too many promises and then obviously always fail to deliver. So it's pretty cool that the ecosystem within Arbitrum, the NFT ecosystem within Arbitrum, is so small that like I feel like there's not that much pressure on these people behind these projects to like deliver random things that people don't end up wanting anyways, So that's part of the reason why I really like it. And these guys are just hilarious. Honestly, like just random. Again, and like, when I minted them, I think they were like really cheap. They were around the 0.01 ETH mark. So they were quite cheap actually. And the last thing I did want to mention actually, I should mention again, I do actually have a couple of these too before I even go forward. Yeah, this is definitely my favorite one for sure. 1833. I minted a couple of these boys, okay? I minted a couple of these bad boys back when the Dutch auctions were going live. But yeah, anyways, just wanted to say that. But the last thing I wanted to mention was the NFT Alliance on Arbitrum. So, obviously, I mentioned 3 projects on Arbitrum just now. I mentioned the marketplace, the treasure marketplace, and now I'm mentioning the Alliance. So the Alliance is essentially a group of NFT projects on Arbitrum that decided to band together and, just empower the ecosystem, the NFT ecosystem within Arbitrum. And these guys are doing amazing stuff. Like, honestly, they made this entire website, and you can actually come here to see the different projects that are in Arbitrum. So you have, the Random Walk, Arbibots, Yabby Dabbies, Open Blocks, Farmland. You guys know I mentioned Farmland the other day, Arbizar. These are also, they have marketplaces here as well. As you can see, Arbizar is one of them. NFT projects. They have a bunch of stuff in here you can check out, take a look at, and kind of have it be your starter into the NFT ecosystem on Arbitrum. Because, there are obviously a lot of projects that, look cool, but then it's like, okay, where do I buy them? Well, that's partially why I like this website so much, NFTalliance.xyz, because you can actually come in here, look at the projects, look at some of the marketplaces, and then kind of go from there. Because to be clear, this isn't even like a full comprehensive list of NFT projects on Arbitrum. This is just ones that they listed so far. So, personally, as you guys can obviously tell, your boy's a huge fan of Arbitrum, as well as any of the NFT and DeFi projects within it as well. So I definitely felt like I had to make this video today. It's mainly what I've been doing personally. I've really only been focusing on NFTs within Arbitrum. Because as I mentioned, on Ethereum right now, everything is way too expensive for me to even try to speculate on. And a lot of these people within these communities are very authentic, and at least it feels a lot more grassroots than anything else I've come across recently. That being said, let me know down in the comments below which one of these projects did you think looked the coolest. If you are already using Arbitrum, are you looking at any other NFT projects that I didn't mention? Let me know down below. That being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.